Hey, what's going on, everybody? Been a few days since I made a video, so thought I'd just recap what we were done last weekend. Got my little moose with me tonight. She's a dad's dog. Uh, so yeah, we went up north last weekend. Spent the weekend up there. Me and the boy and Jacob, we stayed Friday night and fished all day Saturday and Friday. Uh, had a great time. Went up there with Aaron and his dad, Larry. Then we also had Aaron's boy Jaden with us, and then his brother-in-law Trent, and his son was with us also. So we had a really good time up there. Wabasha, Minnesota is where we went. Fished in the backwaters, which is just right there along the Mississippi itself. Basically, you're in Wisconsin when you're fishing the backwaters. Great time. Some of the biggest perch I ever seen, I'll tell you. Huge perch. Trent, yeah, that dude, he was definitely a magnet on them. He had two of them that was 14 inches, and I gotta say they were hitting 3 pounds. I mean, they were just that big. Well, you want down? You're all right. You're all right. She's what is she? 18 years old. She's blind and she's deaf, but she's a daddy's girl. So yeah, where I go, she thinks she's got to go. This is kind of an odd territory downstairs with me. I normally don't bring her down with me, but I'm the only one home, so I thought I'd bring her on down with me. So yeah, it was a simple setup. Everything was under a bobber. I came up there with 1/32 ounce jigs. Too light. It took me the longest time to figure it out. 1/32 ounce was way too light. Here, you want to wander around? Go ahead. Go ahead and wander. So the 1/32 was just too light. This backwater still got a current in it, and you'd notice you'd toss out and your bobber would just start floating down, floating across the water. So the only thing I could figure out was in that current, my jig was just coming up, and I needed it to stay down in that about 3 foot deep off my bobber. So I switched up and put on a little bit heavier jig. By that time, it was over. The bite was over. So, yeah, I hooked one. Hey, it was a personal best for me. I'll tell you that. It was definitely the biggest perch I ever caught. But it was probably only about an 11 inch. I may have been pushing 12. I don't know. Big, fat, round, football perch. He was huge. Like I said, biggest one I ever caught. What a great time, though. Using a minnow. We were using white jigs with, we was trying to use them with a red eye on them. Then hooking a minnow to them too. And also we were using Nightcrawler. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I caught mine with the Nightcrawler on. So, yeah, it was a really good time, guys. If if you're down here in Iowa, I don't care where you are. I mean, it don't matter. If you're looking to go do some perch fishing, just comment on the video about it, and I'll give you the information on who to contact up there. He's a real good friend of mine. I've known him for, I'm guessing 5-6 years now. Jojo Blanco, heck of a nice guy. Got some of the best fish batter you'll ever eat. And that was something else we done while we were there. So the Catholic school up there, every year they put on a big fish fry to raise money for the school, right? So it was $12 ahead of time or $17 at the door. Now, that gave you a big pile of fish. They had coleslaw. They had potato salad. They had bread and butter, a roll, bread and a roll. They had pop. They had water. Big gym with all the lunch tables set out, so you had plenty of space to sit down and eat. Great. It was really good fish. It was cod, kind of like what they use at Long John Silver's, but JoJo's fish batter is 10 times better than Long John's will ever be. Really good. I tore it up. In fact, Griffin had never ate fish before, and I got him to, I didn't get him to. He stepped up on his own and said, "Hey, Dad, I think I'd like to try that fish." Well, he ate a pretty good chunk of it. No tartar sauce, no nothing on it. I was really proud of that. He tore it up. We even brought him a Subway because he didn't figure he'd eat. Good time, though. Real good time. They also have up there, if you're not familiar with Wabasha, so the Grumpy Old Man movie, whether it was filmed there or not, doesn't really matter, but what I'm trying to say is Wabasha is in the movie. So, Grumpy Old Man, Wabasha, Minnesota. So you up there, and I messed up because I didn't mess up. We fished all day Saturday. Then we were going to stay Saturday night. Then we decided that we're going to go ahead and go on home Saturday night because there was a sports cards show up north of us at Ames, Iowa, which is just 30 minutes north of me. So we wanted to go to that too. Me and Griffin's not hot and heavy, but we're getting into baseball and football cards. We're buying them, and we're not really selling. I'm not could I say I'm not knowledgeable enough really to know what to buy to sell. So we're basically just building our own personal collection. So yeah, we came home Saturday night and got up Sunday morning and went up to that show. But what a great time, guys. Wabasha, Minnesota is a really nice town. Plenty of places to eat. The lodging. It's called Big River Resort. So, if you're thinking about going up there, once again, throw a comment in here, and I'll give you the information on the resort up there. A night is like $140. But the best part about it is everything's ground level. So your door is right outside it on the parking lot. So you can, back your truck up or your Dodge Caravan like I drive, but I took the wife's car. You can back it right up to the door, offload everything into the room, load it back up right off the door. It's easy access. It ain't like you got to go inside the building, go to the second floor, and carry it all down. So, yeah, I like that. That's one of the highlights of staying there. Nice little room. Two, what are they, king size or queen size? I think they're queen size beds. So, me and Griffin slept in one, Jacob slept in the other. The heat in there was, it was actually much needed that night because it got down pretty darn cold that night. In fact, I believe it did. It got down below freezing because when the guys got down to the backwaters, they had ice right out in front of them. So they had to break that up and kind of make an area to fish at. So yeah, the heat worked good. Shower, the bathroom in it was great. Had a little refrigerator. I can tell you this, as soon as you get there, if there's something you want to put in your fridge, open it up and turn it on because they do turn them off. Probably ain't no sense in them running all the time like that. Just wear them out. Nice, clean little rooms though. Bedding was plenty warm. The pillows were great. The blankets were warm. Yeah, I mean, plenty of room to walk around inside there. There's one big old dresser-like thing right there. You can, put your wallet and change and everything right up on that dresser so it ain't strung out everywhere. You come in the door. There's a big corner right there. You can stand your fishing poles up in that corner if you want to bring them in. Plenty of room. Big River Resort's the name of it. So, yeah. So we used, like I said, white jigs, red eye, slip bobbers. Had to have a little split shot on too. To keep that jig down far enough that I didn't have a heavy enough jig, and I finally got one tied on, but by that time I think the northerns were moving in, and JoJo was telling me, because we found one northern on the bank. JoJo finally came after the fish dinner thing was, or no, it was his tournament. He had a it's normally an ice fishing tournament, but as you guys know, the ice this year was horrible, so it was more of an open water tournament. There was a little bit of ice in the marina where they hold it, but it wasn't safe to even get out on, so they had to fish off the dock. I chose not to go to it simply because, I was there with, my friends. I wanted to stay with them. But, yeah, they give away prizes, guided fishing trips with JoJo. JoJo is a guide up there. They do have pontoons. They have a bass boat. Yeah, everything you need for ice fishing, too. I mean, you can go up there with nothing but warm clothes and, go out on an ice fishing trip with them. You don't have to bring a darn thing. He'll have it all. So they do have a little bait shop up there. It really ain't little. It's pretty well stocked. I mean, plenty of both open water and ice fishing gear. He had a gun shop in there too. Yeah, pretty cool. A lot of taxidermy on the wall in there. I wish I could remember the name of the bait shop there. But I can't, right off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of it. Go up there, you get a fishing license, and I'll clue you in on a little something too that we learned before we went up there. So you go up there, you're from another state, you buy a fishing license for yourself. So we're going to be there definitely 2 days fishing. So I bought two 24-hour license because it was cheaper than buying the 72-hour license. I think it was like a $16 difference. So keep that in mind. If you're only going to be there for a couple days, just buy two 24-hour license. Now, if you're going to bring your son or your daughter or whoever, and they're under the age of 16, or was it 14? I believe it's 16. If they're under the age of 16, you want to buy them a youth fishing license. Now, it's only $6, and it covers for a full year being out of state. It'll cover that youth for 1 full year for $6 whole bucks. Now, if you don't have that, if your son or daughter doesn't have that youth license, now in the boundary waters you can have 15 perch, 15 crappie, 15 bluegills. But if your son doesn't have that youth license, between the two of you, you can only have 15. Now, if he or she has the youth license, now you can have 30, 15 each of each species. Now, that doesn't include the northern pike, though. I don't even know what them were. I'm just saying perch, crappie, and bluegill. So normally Minnesota inland waters, so lakes and ponds, the limit is on all three of them species is 10, okay? But if you're fishing the boundary waters, which is right off the Mississippi, you get 15. You get to bump up to 15. So keep that in mind also. Made it a much better deal, even though we didn't come home with no fish because Dad only caught one perch. Well, I caught 3, maybe 4, but the other ones were just too small, and I just threw them back in. No sense in pulling out them dinks. Just let them be there because they're gonna get big, dude. Huge perch, footballs. They were huge. Not much of a fighter either, I'll tell you. They just kind of swim to the side and back to the side, and then they just come in. It's like they give up real quick and easy. You just got to get them hooked. Did learn that the big perch, and I don't know how many of them I missed. I bet you I missed 10 at least. The big perch, JoJo explained this to me. The big perch would take your jig and they would barely pull it under. I mean, it's like they pull it under, and it was like you could still see your bobber there. And you'd be like, well, do I wait? Do I let him get a little bit more? No, as soon as they start pulling it down, you want to set that hook, because that was the big ones. The little ones, they just grabbed it and they took off running with them. So keep that in mind too. If you ever go up there, them big ones, they just barely done anything. You had to hook them quick. I mean, it was right now you had to be on them. And obviously that's what Trent figured out right out of the gate, because man, he was he was slaying them. And I was glad. I mean, it was a blast, just watching him catch them. The bank, dude. I mean, the bank of this backwater looked like they just released 10,000 trout. You ever been to a trout releasing and you see how the people are lined up on the bank? That's what it was like up there. It was really cool. I really wish I would have took some pictures and some video, but man, we were talking and laughing and carrying on and having so much fun that yeah, the camera and the phone didn't even come out. Well, the camera did. The camera, I had that on the stand, uh, right beside me, but you're watching your bobber, you're trying to catch perch, and yeah, I never picked it up, man. We was just having too much fun. I wish I would have, but I didn't. So yeah, what a great time up there, guys. So if you ever get a chance and you want to go up there, really good time up there. Plenty of good places to eat too. Uh, Once again, I go up there too, and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, the Green Hornet. I got to come home with the Green Hornet. So the Green Hornet, if you ever watched the movie, it's just a fishing pole. It looks like a duck, but it's called the Green Hornet. So they sell them up there. The restaurant slash lounge slash bar that sells them, they don't open until May. So I asked around and, well, I asked at the lodge actually, and she said at the hardware store there, they'd carry them too. So I should just, call up there and order one and have it delivered, but that's really not as much fun as going in there and picking one out. But like a goofball, I mean, I've been up there 4 or 5 times and I keep forgetting to bring one home. I just want it just to hang on my wall. What else can we talk about? Man, the laughter. That was crazy. We laughed and laughed. In fact, some of the people that was around us, they were kind of looking over at us like, man, what's these people over here? Where they from? Yeah, some of the things we were saying. I mean, we're fine with our sexuality, but yeah, we were having a good time. Good old boys having a good old time. So I think we kind of haven't made a final decision, but we're definitely going to be heading back up that way. But we're going to go about another half hour north of there. There's another lake up there that has walleye in it. So we want to get up there and do some walleye fishing too. In the Mississippi, oh my gosh, I gotta get on that Mississippi and cast me out a big old chub or something and try and catch a big flathead or a blue cat. Blue cat would just be dynamite because I've never caught a blue cat before. We don't have them here in Des Moines, even though people do say years ago, and I'm thinking they're talking back in the 50s, maybe in the 60s, that the Des Moines River had blue cat in it. That could very well be true, but I've never seen it, so it's hard for me to believe that our river has blue cat. Not that they couldn't, but I've never seen one. Seen some nice flathead, some nice channel cat, but never blue cat. But yeah, I'd love to get up there and catch a 40 or 50 pounder. I mean, I don't need no 90 pounder. 40 or 50 would tickle me to death. The water level up there, was a little low. I used to go across that Mississippi Bridge. It runs out of Wabasha over into Wisconsin. I've been across that bridge 100 times, going up to a town called Plum City, Wisconsin. Uh, so I've seen the water a whole lot higher up there. Uh, it seemed to be a little bit lower. Uh, oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you what, the Eagles. Wow! I actually got my camera out and tried to focus in on the one of these eagles. Dude, it was so cool. So he sat up in the tree for several minutes, jumped out of the tree, swooped down, came back around, and then came back nice and slow and easy and set right down into the water. Now, this is all mud flat. So I'm thinking the water might have been 6 inches deep in there. He stood there for, oh, I'm going to guess 5 minutes or so. And then all of a sudden, you seen his head, because I was watching him. His head just went down, but he just napped one up. And I couldn't tell you, I mean, he was so far away, I couldn't tell you if it was a perch or if it was a crappie or what it was. I was getting a phone call. I had to end that. But so cool to watch that. Then he, took off and flew away with it. You could see it in his feet and his claws. And it looked like it could have been a muskrat too, as far as that goes. I'm getting texts from my boy. He's staying the night with my daughter. Texting me about baseball cards, Travis Kelsey, football. Uh, so yeah, Kansas City Chiefs is our team. Uh, so yeah, that was really cool to see that. I mean, we do have Eagles here in Des Moines, but to be up there in that wooded area like that and right next to the Mississippi and that is just it's more mind blowing than anything. Just to be there and be outside and experience the outside nature around you was so cool. Yeah. Like I said, we was talking about that bank too. We'll get back to it. So that bank was unreal, dude. I mean, there had to been. I bet I'm just throwing a number out of 50 guys down that bank. And we're sitting on rocks. I mean, I had a rock and I was sitting on this rocks just like I'm sitting in my big chair now. I was able to lean back and just kind of relax. Uh, and I would look down that bank at all them other fishermen. You'd see some poles standing up. You'd see other poles all bent over. I mean, they were pulling perch left and right, left and right. It was so cool, so cool. You know, what an experience, guys! It really was. Ice out perch fishing is dynamite. It really is. Lot of fun. And I think, and honestly, I'm gonna throw this out there. I could be wrong. I have a high vis fishing line on my reel. I think that might have played a problem too. I got that green. I think that played a role in why I was not catching. Uh, Now Trent, he had braid on, but it was more of a gray color, and I mean, dude, he was slaying them. He was. I mean, my jig size, my jig weight, and my line, I think, played a big role of why I wasn't landing. I don't know. I could be wrong too. Because like I was saying earlier, I know I missed at least 10 of them big ones because of poor hook set, waiting too long. But yeah, I think I got a funny feeling because I just put all new line on the reels before we went up there. I think that green line may have played a role in why I didn't do so well. I got one of them right here, if they ain't all tangled up. Yeah, right there. So, this is the jig that we were using. So it's a white jig. This one's got kind of a red eye with the black pupil in it. I think it's a 1/4 ounce. Like I said, I was running 1/32. Then finally, when JoJo showed up, I talked to him previous. Man, look at that action. So I talked to him previous days before we went up there. Just kind of turning it around so you can kind of see. It's a tube jig is what it is. He said, yeah, I just use plastics. So I kind of talked to him about what plastics and that. And I brought a bunch of plastics up with me. White ones. These ones actually glow. So, yeah. So I was running, gobs and gobs. I was running different colors, you know. Yeah, I got a shit ton of plastics. And these were actually right here is the ones that I brought up there and tried first. I mean, I was close. I was darn close to what jig he was running. So this has got a sparkle green jig. It's a tube jig now. And it's all, down at the bottom. As you can see, it's just a tube jig. I was close, but they didn't like that. So what I was doing in the beginning, Trent and them was there, about an hour and a half before I got there because I wasn't moving very quickly Saturday morning. I was kind of worn out from working all week and then driving up there, which is about 3 hours and 45 minutes from the house. I drove all the way up there. I was just worn out, and I fished all day. Friday, we went and done that fish fry Friday night. So I was beat when I got up Saturday morning, so I kind of took my time. But I got there, and I talked to Trent and them, seeing how they were catching them. So I tried to do it their way, and I wasn't getting nothing. So then I decided to change things up a little bit, and I put a plastic on, and I would cast it out there with my bobber set at 3 foot. Now, this is before I even go any further. Double jig rigs, no, you cannot do that in Minnesota. One line on open water. Open water, you have one line, one hook. Oh, poor Lucy just walked into my fishing pole. Poor old girl can't see nothing. Here, come here, baby. Come on up here with me. Come here. Her's all right. She's normally used to my feet being up in the recliner. Then she'll lay in between my legs. Poor old thing. She's just been wandering around, which is good for her. She needs to move them muscles. So, yeah, one line, one hook up there. So what I was doing, Normally here at home, I'll run that double jig rig, with my bobber, 2 jigs at the bottom, about a foot apart. And, okay, here you go. Go wander. So I would cast out there, and I'd let my jigs drop down, let them sit for a second, then I'd just take my rod and I'd pull it up. Nice and slow and easy. Bobber would come back up from when I stopped, pulling on my rod. Your bobber would start rising and then your jigs would start dropping. So that's what I was doing. Get it out there, move it, bring it in. I did get hit a couple times, but I think they were dinks. I wasn't able to set the hook on them. They were, I think, just too darn small. But I tried that for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, and it just wasn't working. And actually, as many guys that was out there too, I mean, I wasn't able to go off to the left or go off to the right. You pretty much only had what was out in front of you, about 5 foot on each side of the middle of you. Didn't have much room. All them lines are out there, so you had to work with what area you had in front of you. Poor old girl. Come here, Lou. Come here, Moose. She's out of her normal area. Come here, baby. I feel bad for her. I should have just left her upstairs, but I hate leaving her alone. But, so yeah, I tried that for the longest time, and finally I just said, to heck with it. I went back to, I put worm on, ran that for a while, then I changed back over to minnow, and then JoJo comes, and he goes off to the right of me, down about 20, 30 feet. So I set my rod down. Now, I got the guy that lives here that catches these big dogs. I'm going to see how he's doing it. So I was watching him, doing the same thing, just like I do on my double jig rig. Casting out and, standing the bobber up, letting drop and that. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. I've already done this. Put it away. JoJo comes. JoJo starts doing it, and I'm like, oh, I knew I was right. So I started laughing. About that time, JoJo walks up the bank, up the rocks, the rock wall. I mean, they were nasty rocks, too. You couldn't get them to stand still. You stood on them and they'd move. He goes up the road and he walks down the road from us, probably about another 50 foot. And I thought, oh, okay. I need to go down here and fish with JoJo anyway. We're buddies. I haven't really had much time to spend any time with him. I'm going to go down and hook up with him for a bit. So I go down there and I'm like, dude, I was doing this earlier. I just knew I was right. He just laughed at me. So we started doing that. And that's when I asked him, I said, where's these plastics at that you've been using? So he hands me a couple of them. I put one on mine. I put one on Griffin's. I hollered at Jacob, told Jacob to come down because, neither one of us. Jacob caught a nice one to throw in the bucket. And he caught a couple of other small ones. But we hadn't had much success. So I thought, man, it's going to be dark here in about an hour or so. Let's try this out. So I got Jacob down there and I said, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Well, by that time, shortly after starting to do that, Griffin hollers at me and he says, hey, Dad, what's this? And I look down in the weeds and somebody, poor old girl, go lay down. You're all right. Somebody caught about I'm going to say it was 28 to 32 inch pike and put it up in the grass. Now, I don't know if they were going to take it home or if they were just pulling it out to get it out of there. I don't know. It happens everywhere you fish. You know it, and I know it, but it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to cry about it. So I reached down there to go pick him up, and as soon as I picked that pike up, I felt his muscles move. And I thought, well, this damn thing's still alive. So we kind of looked him over a little bit, and he looked fine. And I put him down in the water. You're all right, Moose. You're all right, girl. So I put him down in the water, and he's not moving. But I told Grip, I said, just let him be, don't mess with him. So I keep, looking down at that pike as I'm fishing. Then all of a sudden I start seeing his gills moving. I thought, oh, this old boy's coming back to life now. Oh, I see what the problem is, Luz. Oh my gosh. Poor old girl, there you go. I know you're still crazy. You don't know where you're at. You're all right, though. So, sorry. Got to take care of the dog, too. Oh, another phone call. Let's end that. So, I see his gills starting to move, and I thought, oh, good. He's gonna make it. So, I let him do that for a little bit, and he's not moving, not trying to swim away or anything. And so I thought, well, I'm going to pick him up, and try to get him agitated a little bit. So I did that, and I could tell he was starting to get a little agitated at me. So I put him back down in the water, and he didn't move for a second. Then I grabbed him by the tail. Boy, he slapped that tail. He was like, don't touch me, So I let go of him real quick. I wasn't even actually able to hold on to him. But it was only about 3 or 4 seconds later, he just took off swimming. So I felt like I got something good done, Look, Moose, you're a movie star. Poor old girl. She's just in an odd area. She don't know where she's at. She's a nervous wreck. Shih Tzu. Like I said, we've had her for like 18, 19 years. She's a good old girl. Can't go to bed without her. Oh, you're all right, Moose. So yeah, that's kind of the lowdown of Wabasha, Minnesota. Fishing up there. Kind of what we done for, the weekend. Had a really good time. But like I said, if you guys are interested in any information about it, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment, and I'll check it out, and I'll get back to you, give you all the information, who to contact, and, the whole 9 yards, get you up there and, go up there and fish with JoJo for a weekend or a day or whatever it may be. I guarantee you'll have a good time. I know on his guide fisherman, oh boy, that was crazy. I know on his guide fishing trips on the ice, he will put on a fish fry for you too. And I'll tell you, dude, I normally don't eat fish without tartar sauce. I can eat his fish without it, It's that good. Listen to her. She's a nervous wreck. Oh, poor old dog. You're all right. But I'm probably just going to go ahead and end it there and take her upstairs where she knows where she's at. Because she has no idea that she's downstairs in the basement. Poor old dog. But, yeah, definitely hit that subscribe button, guys. And, like I said, I'll get you all the information. I don't know about you. Uh, I'm gonna start working on doing more videos, fishing. Uh, we also have chickens out in our backyard. I live in the city, so we got 5 laying hens and 1 rooster. Uh, so we're collecting eggs and eating them. Uh, Kind of a COVID thing would happen, and it's turned into a lot of fun. So I'm gonna be making videos about that. Uh, Ball cards. I'm gonna try to do some videos on ball cards. You know, it's not it's not an expensive habit. If you got young kids, it's a lot of fun for dad and son, or mom and daughter, or dad and daughter, or whatever, uh, to get into. It's really not expensive. Uh, in fact, I can give you a little clue here. Dollar General, they do carry $1 packs of cards. I believe there's 7 cards in each pack. Uh, you buy them cards, and you can get on eBay and look up that card. Who knows? You might, what they say, pull a card. I'm pulling cards. But you could actually get a card, it could be worth 25, $50. We haven't got lucky like that yet, but we've pulled quite a few cards that, range from, $5. Well, let me bounce it back from $1 all the way up to, I think we've gotten a couple that might be in the $20 mark, which is cool. We're, like I said, we're just building a personal collection. We're gonna put them on the wall and enjoy them. Something me and the boy can do together, and just have fun. But yeah, so I'm gonna be making them 3 different types of videos here. Uh, we're getting up in the morning and going to a local lake. Hopefully, I find the right brush pile, and we can bring home, a dozen crappie or something, and clean them up, and cook them up tomorrow. So who knows? Might even make a, what do they call that? Catch, clean, and fry video. That'd be cool. I haven't done one of them yet. So with that all, thanks for following along. If you're new to the channel, click on that subscribe. Uh, who knows? Might enjoy it. Who knows? But until next time, man, uh, get out and do some fishing, shed hunting. Go out and find some antlers with the kids, or whatever. Go out, get outside, and have fun. The looks like spring's here for us, and good weather's around the corner. So get out and have some fun. But I got to hit the old end button. You guys have a good evening. Maybe I can hit the end button. Now, I'm going to pick it up so I can hit the